Very good morning. Welcome to my class. The event scheduling and time scheduling algorithm and manual simulation using event scheduling. So this is a topic we are going to discuss today. This is based under module number 1, Introduction to Simulation. So another name of event scheduling is time advance algorithm. So whatever the event we have to under process, we have to go for it's totally depend upon the future event list. The mechanism for advancing simulation time and guaranteeing that all events occur in correct chronological order, these should be based on the future event list. So if you want to apply the events in future, then we have to go through this future event list. So in that we can find out the event notices, and in that notice we can find the events that should be scheduled for the future for forthcoming futures. So to contain all the event notices for event that have been scheduled to occur at a future time only. So if it is necessary, we can see that future event list. So to be ordered by event time, it means the events are arranged chronologically, that is the event time satisfied. So if it is satisfied, then we can go through this future event list. In that we can see the notices which and all we can apply in the future time. And scheduling a future event means that an instant an activity begins, its duration is computed or drawn a sample from a statistical distribution, and the end activity event together with its event time is placed on the future event list. So there is a clubbing together between the time and its distribution. So based on the duration, we can find out the things. Based on the durations, we can see the event notices, and these should be placed on the future event list. So the sequence of actions which a simulator must perform to advance the clock system snapshot is called event scheduling or time advance algorithm. So if for example, if an event is under process, and if any other event is still under process, there is no effect with each other, it will be worked as it is accordingly. And if it is necessary to put an event in future, then we can go for future event list, and we can see the event notices. If it is necessary, we can apply based on the future event list. And these are the steps we can follow in this concept. First step is remove the event notice for the imminent event, from future event list. And next step is advance clock to imminent event time, that is advance clock from R to T1. And afterwards, after setting the clock at event time, we can go for execution. So execute imminent event, in that we can update the system state, change entity attributes, and set membership as needed. If you want to update the system, for example, if our state is unstable, if any other event instantaneously occurred, then we have to update the system state as it is, that is the system environment. It should not affect with any other ongoing process. So and then if you once updated, then there is a changes in the entity attributes, and we can set the membership if we needed. And fourth step is we have to generate the future events if necessary, and place their event notices on the PEL ranked by event time. So example, they have given event 4 to occur at time T and event 5 to occur at time T. So like that they have given the conditions T2 till T3. And then last step is update the cumulative statistics and counters. So these are the 5 steps we have to follow here. First thing is we have to remove the event notice, and then we have to advance clock to imminent event time, and afterwards execution will be there. And if any updations or modifications, any changes is there, we have to do. And then fourth step is if it is necessary, if applicable, then we have to generate the future events based on the future event list. In that we can find out the notices, and then process the future events, and we have to generate the future events. And last step is update the cumulative statistics and counters. Next is manual simulation using the event scheduling. The system consists of those customers in the waiting plus the one if any checking out. So for example, if one customer is waiting for their service, then another customer is in the waiting line. Simultaneously, both customers can eventually get serviced by the server. because it is in a random way. So system state LQ of T, LS of T, where LQ of T is the number of customers in the waiting line and LS of T is the number being serviced 0 or 1 at a time T. And entities, the server and customers are not explicitly modeled except in terms of state variables above, like. So like LQ of T and LS of T is the important parameters which we have to understood. That is nothing but the number of customers waiting in a line, and LS of T is nothing but number being serviced at time T. So wherever the customers is waiting in a line, so this they will eventually serviced by the servers, because it should be in a random fashion, so that manual simulation, by using this manual simulation, everyone will get serviced by all time. So the server and customers are not explicitly modeled over here except in terms of the state variables as above. And event arrival for the parameters we have they have mentioned is event arrival A and departure D, stopping event is E, and schedule to occur at time 60. So these are the event notices. AT is nothing but arrival event, DT is nothing but the customer departure. So everything will be arrival and departure, everything will be takes place in the future time T only. Depend upon the future event list, we have to calculate these parameters. So A comma D is nothing but representing an arrival event to occur at future time T, and D comma T is representing a customer departure at arrival future time T. Next is E comma 60, representing the simulation stop event at future time 60 activities. Once the activities got finished, then if we give E comma 60, then automatically the events has to be stopped by based on the future event list. Next, inter arrival time, service time, delay, customer time spent in the waiting line. So in this model, the FEL will always contain either 2 or 3 event notices. We don't have any restrictions. There is a maximum restrictions for all the events, and then depend upon the future event list, we can identify the events, and based on that we can generate the future events if it is necessary. And simulation of the inventory system, as we discussed previously, an important class of simulation problem involves the inventory system. So this inventory system has a periodic review of length n, at which the inventory level is checked. So this is nothing but for example, if you are going to purchase something, for example newspaper, I am going to purchase a newspaper for 10 cents and I am going to sell for 50 cents, and the problem is to compute the optimal number of newspapers which they received the profit per each day, how much they sold. Through scraps, salvage profit will be there. So based on that we can calculate the profit and loss. So an order is made to bring the inventory up to the level M. So here we can give the probability for all the things, like a newsstand will buy the probabilistic distribution, and newspaper will be there at the normal condition. So fair, good, like these kind of probabilistics we can distribute among the inventory system. So at the end of the first review, there are the reviews like first review, second review, etc. So at the end of the first review, an order quantity Q1 is placed. If it's so, next is Q2 is placed, and Q3 is placed, Q4 is placed, and so on. So in the inventory system, the lead time is nothing but the length of time between the placement and receipt of an order. This should be a 0. So this is the lead time we can calculate in the inventory system. So these are the strategy, and demands are not usually known with certainty, so the order quantities are probabilistic only. So here we can see this Q1, Q2 and Q3. So in this slide we have discussed an order is made to bring the inventory up to the level M. At the end of first review period, an order quantity Q1 is placed. So if Q1 is placed, the same as like Q2 and Q3 and Q4 etc. will be placed, depend upon the demands, and then with known with the certainty, and order quantities will be the probabilistic in this inventory system. In actuality, demands are not usually uniform and do fluctuate over time. So one possibility is that demands all occur at the beginning of the cycle. Another is the lead time. Lead time is nothing but we already discussed in this slide. Lead time is nothing but the length of time between placement and receipt of an order, which is 0 in the inventory system. So this in second cycle, the amount in inventory drops below 0, indicating a shortage. So another random thing is of some positive length based on the strategy. So these units are back ordered. When the order arrives, the demand for back ordered items is satisfied first, and then so on. Thank you.